Okay, thank you for having us. Would you please introduce yourself so our viewers know who you are?
Yeah, my name is Lou Studdert, and I'm the producer on the Spyro Reignited Trilogy.
Okay. I already had the pleasure to play this game,
Great.
and I was amazed. I was impressed. I didn't know what to say about this because it felt exactly like the game I played 15 years ago.
Right.
And I think, could you tell me more about the developing process? I can imagine that it was hard to recapture that in the way you did. Could you tell me more about this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our developers at Toys for Bob have done a phenomenal job, like you said, making it still feel like you did when you first played it. But what's interesting is we had no original source code, so they've had to rebuild this from the ground up. It's a brand new engine, brand new visuals, everything is rebuilt from scratch because no source code actually still exists. So we went to the original developers, asked, and they actually lost it in a building move. And so we've had to start from the very beginning, building it from the ground up, and that's taken kind of this exhaustive process of looking at the original games, playing the original games, rebuilding it ours, playing ours, making sure that hardcore fans inside the studio are making sure everything is right. And then we've also done some cool like special engineering tools to help confirm those things by being able to record information of our playing in the original games and compare it to ours in the new game.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds very interesting because when I played one of the levels, it was exactly how I remembered it. There was no difference, only the graphics improved. That's how I felt because it was pretty much the same game, and that's why it's so great.
Yeah.
Is there something you really like about the game?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of mentioned it. It's that classic nostalgia feel paired with a visual and actually audio presentation that's super modern. I mean, we've got an art style that pushes kind of even past what our memories of playing it for the first time 20 years ago actually fills in. So it's taking it beyond nostalgia. And then we're also doing some really fun things with characters getting new, looks and personalities, and just more animation and things to make it feel more alive. And then with the soundtrack, we actually have made it fully remastered and made it dynamic. And so it'll actually change as you're playing through a level. It'll get quieter and kind of have some reverb if you're in a cave. It'll get more excitable if you're fighting a boss. We'll add drums in if you're running through the areas and through the levels as Spyro. And so it's really fun. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, even the controls are the same. I just had to dive into the game and I exactly know what to do because the controls are pretty much still the same. And I think for you, it must be such a great experience to remaster such an iconic game like Spyro.
Yeah. No, it is. And one of the things that's interesting is you say that the controls are the same. They're actually not.
No?
No, I mean, the biggest improvement is the fact that the original game never had a right analog stick.
Oh,
All
right.
the camera controls were done with the bumpers. And so if you go back to the original game, your experience is actually being able to control the camera only on a horizontal. And if you actually wanted to look anywhere, you had to stop moving, go into first person look mode, and look around to explore. And so now it's actually mapped to that analog stick on the right thumb, like more modern games are. And so you're actually getting the experience of thinking it plays the exact same, but you're now not being, rubbing up against the things that just games have evolved to include. And so it's actually one of the first things that the team did was move that camera control over, and so that way it just has this feeling of being the thing that you remember, but also not feeling old, which is a very important thing. Yeah.
So the Spyro community is massive, and most people who are excited about this game, of course, played it on PS1 as well.
Of course, yeah.
But if you say that the controls, or that you improve the controls, I think it should also be enjoyable to those people who are new to the whole franchise.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, that's one of the things that we're seeing. And I should have clarified, we also have a classic control scheme for the nostalgic fans from the original PlayStation 1 that if they want to do the bumper camera control, they can turn it on. But for gamers playing this for the first time, some of the updates that we did were kind of what we say on the outside or the fringes of the game. We want to make sure that the gameplay is the same, but the improvements that we are making are for modern systems, modern games, things like auto-saving, things like the control of the camera and things like that we're doing to make sure that there isn't a barrier of entry, or that we don't come off feeling like not modern games.
Okay,
yeah.
Very interesting. Did you already have the chance to talk to some fans here at Gamescom? What is the overall impression of the Spyro remake?
I haven't gotten to speak to anyone yet here at Gamescom. The day is still young, and it's the first day through. But hopefully, we'll get all the impressions from folks. We're so excited because this is the first time that we're showing off 3 brand new levels, and it's the first hands-on for anyone to get for the public of Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage and Spyro Year of the Dragon. And so hoping we're going to get some really great feedback, but from earlier events, things like E3 and some of the other events where we've had hands-on, the response has been great. The response has been, it feels just like it was when I played it originally, and that, the visuals push it further and the presentation push it further than even the nostalgia makes you remember it looking like.
Yes, exactly. I mean, there are so many gamers out there who started playing on PS1 and who, the same goes to Crash Bandicoot. People absolutely love this. So I can imagine that Spyro will be just as successful. I can imagine that people will really enjoy playing this. We know, or you recently announced that it will be delayed until November. Did you face any difficulties in the development process, or could you maybe say more about this? Is that possible?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what we're doing is we're shifting it from where we originally had it to November. So November 13th is when we're releasing it. It's actually not that much further, but we did it so that way we could have a little bit more time to polish the game up. As you said, fans are really, really excited for it, and we've seen just an overwhelmingly positive response to the game. So we want to make sure that we are actually giving all the 100 plus levels of this game all the love and care and attention it needs. And so we just wanted a little bit of extra time to polish it up to that perfect shine, and we're absolutely sure that fans will say it's worth the wait.
Okay, that is totally understandable. I think fans would be disappointed if they encounter bugs and all of that. And if you really take the time to polish the game and make sure that it's perfect, then it's absolutely worth waiting. Yeah. How about you? How are you enjoying Spyro so far? Can you tell me more about this? Or what is your favorite part?
Sure. No, I absolutely love working on it, and one of the things that's so cool about it is, rediscovering this kind of, old favorite. And so it's, for me, seeing kind of this unique gameplay come back and seeing, these personalities and seeing these awesome scenarios get played again. And so my favorite part has been just to see how far we can push these characters and how much personality and life can go into this game. From animations of Spyro when you are in different areas of the world and how he reacts that give him such more believability as a character, to the things that the team's done with the dragons in the original game. If you remember in Spyro the Dragon, it was maybe 3 or 4 character models with different coats of paint, but now every single dragon has a new and unique personality. And we've kept the script the same, we've kept the gameplay the same, but by giving them a new look, we can tell more of a story. We can say in the artisan's homeworld, every single one of these dragons is supposed to be an artisan. Let's have them do stuff. So you'll encounter painters, you'll encounter sculptors, you'll encounter musicians, you'll encounter a barista, which we're actually showing in the hands-on, making coffee. And it's just something that has been really neat to see, A, the creativity of the team, but also how it really gives more life to these worlds and makes them just that much more believable. So it's a place I already know and love, and it's now just coming to life even more.
I'm getting more and more excited right now. Could you tell us again on what platforms Spyro releases?
Yeah, of course. So the Spyro Reignited Trilogy will be out on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 on November 13th.
Okay, and do you also plan on releasing it on PC, or don't you have any plans for that right now?
I mean, right now, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Okay, no problem at all. So I think we don't have any more questions. Thank you so much for having us. It was a pleasure talking to you. And
absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.